Growing up, Bill Gates was just like any other kid, curious, ambitious, and driven to succeed. But little did he know that his thirst for knowledge and love of technology would one day revolutionize the world of personal computing. In this heartwarming memoir, Source Code: My Beginnings, Gates takes us on a journey through his formative years, from his early fascination with computers in a Seattle high school to the fateful meeting with his lifelong friend and business partner Paul Allen. It's a story of friendship, perseverance, and the relentless pursuit of a dream. Gates didn't come from a poor background, but his success wasn't handed to him on a silver platter. He had to work tirelessly, staying up late into the night, honing his coding skills and exploring the limitless potential of this new technology called the microcomputer. Through intimate details and personal anecdotes, we get a glimpse into the mind of a young prodigy, one who saw the future before anyone else and had the courage to chase it, no matter the obstacles. This isn't just a tale of technological triumph, it's a human story of a boy who dared to dream big and change the world in the process. So join us as we delve into the formative years of the man behind Microsoft and discover the heart and soul that drove him to become a true titan of the digital age. 1. Planting seeds for the future. In the Gates household, games weren't just a pastime, they were a proving ground, especially card games. And the reigning champion was the family's maternal grandmother, Adele Thompson, known to the family as Gammy. As a young Bill Gates observed his grandmother's uncanny ability to strategize and win at every game, he was utterly captivated. Gammy's mastery wasn't mere luck, but a keen eye for patterns and an analytical mind that could predict each move. Bill watched in awe as she effortlessly guided him towards the winning play. This was a pivotal moment for the young boy. He realized that skill and mastery weren't innate, but could be developed through focused practice and an insatiable curiosity. From that day forward, Bill treated every game as a lesson, studying Gammy's techniques and honing his own strategic thinking. It was a humbling process filled with losses, but gradually his persistence paid off as he started to best his grandmother at her own game. This hunger to understand, to unravel the mysteries behind success, whether in games, schoolwork, or any challenge he encountered, would become a defining characteristic of Bill Gates. He gravitated towards subjects that stimulated his analytical mind, like math and reading, while struggling to engage with anything he deemed routine or irrelevant. Growing up, Bill faced his fair share of challenges, from being the youngest and smallest in his class to enduring bullying. But through it all, he maintained an intense drive to prove himself, often resorting to humor and hijinks to offset his academic shortcomings. His parents, too, played a pivotal role, instilling in him a deep sense of ambition, hard work, and community responsibility. As Bill explored the rapidly evolving world around him, encountering the technological wonders of the 1962 World's Fair, the seeds of his future were being planted. The inquisitive, strategic mindset honed through endless games of cards was about to find its true calling in the world of personal computing, where Bill Gates would go on to revolutionize an industry and change the world. 2. A whole new language. Even from a young age, Bill Gates possessed an innate leadership quality and an insatiable intellectual curiosity. Whether organizing the Contempt Club to debate pressing social issues or diving headfirst into challenging research projects, the precocious youngster yearned to tackle complex problems and collaborate with like-minded peers. So when his parents enrolled him at the elite Lakeside School, hoping to provide greater academic stimulation, young Bill found himself both excited and apprehensive. The strict traditions and formal atmosphere felt foreign, and for a moment he even considered sabotaging the entrance exam just to avoid it. But deep down, he knew this was an opportunity to truly shine. At first, Bill fell back on his familiar coping mechanism, the class clown routine. But a wake-up call came when a teacher paired him with the school's lowest-performing student, forcing him to step up and prove his worth. That's when he met Kent Evans, a kindred spirit whose mature intellect and political passions left a profound impact on the impressionable teenager. The real game-changer, however, came when Bill discovered the school's newly acquired teletype machine, a gateway to the captivating world of computer programming. Diving headfirst into this uncharted territory, he quickly became enthralled by the precise, problem-solving nature of coding. Soon, an informal computer club emerged, with Bill, Kent, and two older students, Paul Allen and Rick Weiland, fueling each other's growing obsession. Eager to expand their coding horizons, the group struck a deal with a local startup, Computer Center Corp., to gain unlimited access to their advanced PDP-10 system. This was a true dream come true, as the teenagers practically lived at C-cubed, pushing the limits of their programming skills and learning from every mistake. In those formative years, Bill Gates was not just honing his technical prowess, he was discovering a whole new language, one that would soon become the foundation for his life's work. Without fully realizing it, the young prodigy was already writing the blueprint for his future, a future that would revolutionize the world of personal computing. 3. Gaining expertise at C-cubed. The converted car dealership housing Computer Center Corporation, or C-cubed as Bill Gates affectionately called it, had become a home away from home for the young programming prodigy and his close-knit group of fellow tech enthusiasts. If they weren't at school, this was where they could be found, glued to the PDP-10 computer, coding relentlessly, debugging tirelessly, and falling asleep on the floor only to wake up and write more code. The snowiest winter in Seattle's history that year proved to be a blessing in disguise, as school closures meant endless days of uninterrupted immersive programming. This was the kind of focused, deliberate practice that would later be identified as the key to true mastery, as described by author Malcolm Gladwell's famous 10,000 hours theory. And for Bill Gates, those initial 500 hours at C-cubed were truly pivotal, providing him with the invaluable freedom to lose himself in a state of complete concentration. With programming guides scarce, the young coders had to learn through good old-fashioned trial and error, scrounging for any scrap of knowledge they could find. This led to a rather unusual form of self-education, dumpster diving for discarded printouts of machine code left behind by the older programmers. Though cryptic and largely incomprehensible at first, these discarded clues became a treasure trove, as the teenagers painstakingly reverse-engineered the lines of code to gain a deeper understanding of the system. As Bill's skills grew, so did his ambition. It was no longer enough to just write programs for fun. He wanted to create something genuinely useful. His first foray into this was a simple recipe program inspired by his mother's cookbook, a modest yet meaningful accomplishment for a 13-year-old wielding a $500,000 machine as his personal tutor. But with great power came great responsibility, or in this case, consequences. One day, Bill discovered a security flaw that allowed him to gain administrator access, a thrilling discovery that ultimately led to his temporary banishment from C-cubed. Suddenly faced with the absence of his beloved computer, he turned to the great outdoors, finding new challenges and revelations in the camaraderie of the Boy Scouts and the contemplative solitude of hiking. These formative experiences at C-cubed had forged Bill Gates's insatiable appetite for programming mastery, teaching him the value of dedicated, hands-on learning. As he ventured forth, this unquenchable thirst for knowledge and problem-solving would continue to shape the trajectory of his life, setting the stage for the revolution he would one day unleash upon the world of personal computing. 4. Firsts and lasts. As Bill Gates entered the pivotal 9th grade year, he was determined to turn his ability to hyper-focus into an academic superpower. Drawing on the lessons learned from his time at C-cubed, he knew that when he truly committed his mind to a task, the information would fall into place, giving him a distinct edge. Though the records may show a mix of A's and B's, this was a clear sign that mastery was still a work in progress for the young prodigy. Yet even as his school performance ebbed and flowed, his fascination with computers only continued to grow. After the setback of being banned from C-cubed, Gates and his friends found a new opportunity through a deal between Lakeside and Information Sciences Inc. ISI, another local computer business. This paved the way for their first professional software product, a payroll program developed under contract. Then, as the winter of 1972 gave way to spring, Gates and his close friend Kent faced the ultimate challenge, creating a computerized scheduling program for their beloved Lakeside School. Tragically, just as they were nearing completion, fate dealt them a devastating blow. First, two beloved Lakeside teachers were killed in a plane crash, and soon after, Kent himself died in a climbing accident. The loss of his dear friend was a shock that left much of that time a blur for Bill. But through the grief, he came to a realization. Kent would have wanted him to finish the project they had worked so hard on. Determined to see it through, Gates enlisted the help of his longtime programming partner, Paul Allen. The summer of '72 became a turning point, as the two young men forged an even stronger bond, despite their contrasting personalities. Where Bill was intense and laser-focused, Paul brought a more free-spirited, rock-and-roll approach. Yet these differences only fueled their collaboration, setting the stage for an unimaginable future. As they reflected on their work with ISI, Bill and Paul began to see the bigger picture: the rise of microprocessors and the impending revolution in personal computing. They recognized the immense potential, and they knew they wanted to be a part of it. Little did they know, this was just the beginning of a journey that would transform the world. 5. The Altair Breakthrough. As Bill Gates entered the fall of 1972, he was determined to keep his options open, exploring the realms of politics and law during a summer stint as a page in Washington, D.C. But little did he know the most transformative experience was yet to come: a consulting job at the Bonneville Power Administration, where he would receive invaluable feedback from a former NASA programmer, John Norton. The Bonneville team recognized Gates's immense potential, even going so far as to advise him to skip college altogether and launch a tech career. But despite the temptation, the young prodigy felt the need to challenge himself against the best and brightest students. Accepted to prestigious universities like Harvard, Yale, and Princeton, the choice was ultimately an easy one. His family expected him to attend Harvard, and so he did. Little did Gates know, his arrival in Boston would place him right at the heart of the burgeoning high-tech hub, with his dorm just across from the Aiken lab, home to a PDP-10 computer connected to the early ARPANET. Securing access to this treasure trove of resources, Gates threw himself into the whirlwind of college life, balancing last-minute studying with the flexibility of an applied math major. Meanwhile, his longtime programming partner, Paul Allen, had settled in Boston as well, working at Honeywell and introducing Gates's college friends to the cool older brother, with his beard, guitar, and endless ideas about microprocessors. It was this camaraderie and shared vision that kept the entrepreneurial spark alive between the two young men. Then came the game-changing announcement in the January 1975 issue of Popular Electronics, the Altair 8800, a $397 computer kit that heralded the dawn of the personal computing era. Recognizing its immense potential for business applications, Gates and Allen sprang into action, using Harvard's PDP-10 to create a simulation of the Intel 8080 chip and develop a compact version of BASIC for the Altair. Their efforts paid off when they secured a meeting with the Albuquerque-based company, MIT's, that produced the Altair. Paul's flawless demonstration of the Altair BASIC program left the company's founder, Ed Roberts, ecstatic, and a licensing deal was quickly struck. With that, the partnership of Microsoft was born, setting the stage for a revolution that would change the world. But the path ahead was not without its challenges. Harvard soon discovered Gates's unauthorized use of the school's resources, leading to a tense confrontation that required a letter of apology to ensure his classmate Monty wouldn't face any trouble. Still, the young entrepreneurs remained undaunted, focused on refining their basic program and preparing to take on the next hurdle in their quest to conquer the personal computing frontier. 6. Freed by arbitration. The Altair 8800 far exceeded anyone's expectations. Unbeknownst to anyone at the time, there was a major interest in home computers, even early ones like the Altair 8800, which arrived disassembled and could do very little on its own. But as MIT's co-founder Ed Roberts toured the U.S. and built up excitement, hobbyists began to gather and create influential groups like the Homebrew Computer Club, which ignited the spark of the personal computer revolution. Amid the excitement, Bill and Paul found themselves at the helm of a real software company. They had a clear vision of the future, one where high-quality software would be just as essential as the increasingly powerful microprocessors fueling the rise of personal computers. The work was daunting. Every program had to be custom-built for each new microprocessor. But their dedication paid off. As demand grew, so did their customer base, and their once small operation began to expand. However, there was one thing standing in their way: their licensing agreement with MIT. As competitors like Texas Instruments emerged and IBM was threatening to enter the personal computer market, Ed Roberts was struggling to keep up. Eventually, in 1977, he ended up selling MITs to Pertec Computers. Already, Roberts was hesitant to share the license for BASIC with any potential competitor, and this only became more of an issue with Pertec. They believed that by acquiring MITs, they had also acquired Microsoft's BASIC program, including all future modifications. This conflict ended up going to arbitration, with Gates's father helping his son gain his freedom. Fortunately, the licensing deal that they originally struck with MITS stipulated that the license holder must make their best effort in securing sublicense agreements, or else the contract could be ended. While it was a long and drawn-out affair, the arbitrator ultimately agreed with Microsoft. With all of these challenges ongoing, Gates made the pivotal decision to leave Harvard and dedicate himself full-time to Microsoft. A new business plan was drawn up, and at this point, the hyphen was deleted from the name. With the arbitration over, Bill Gates and Paul Allen were now free to seal their deals with Apple, Commodore, and Radio Shack, all of whom were preparing to make major inroads in home computing. Microsoft's code would be at the heart of each one, a vital part of the programs that kicked off the personal computer revolution. It would play a central role in the coming revolution, opening doors for millions and proving that anyone could create something of value in the world of computing. What happened next? Well, that's a story for Bill's next memoir. Final summary. Source Code delivers masterclasses in innovation, execution, and mindset. This captivating biography of Bill Gates offers readers 3 profound masterclasses woven into the inspiring story of his rise to success. 1. Innovation. The book demonstrates how Gates's ability to recognize pivotal technological inflection points, like the rise of affordable microprocessors, empowered him to lay the foundations for a computing empire. 2. Execution. By meticulously chronicling the early days of Microsoft, Source Code reveals the power of turning raw skill and passion into scalable systems, such as the company's pioneering software licensing model. 3. Mindset. Underlying Gates' remarkable achievements was an obsessive curiosity and relentless problem-solving mentality, which propelled him from a precocious young programmer to an industry titan. The book also uncovers several surprising takeaways, including how Gates nearly became a math professor, how early Microsoft avoided a near-fatal mistake by not partnering with IBM too soon, and how his first programming project at Lakeside School was actually banned for hogging resources. To harness your own inner Bill Gates, the key is to 1. Learn a new skill obsessively, not just passively. 2. Seek out technological inflection points in your industry. 3. Protect your intellectual property as fiercely as your firstborn. Dive into Source Code for the full captivating origin story, and subscribe to Guide to Reads for more inspiring trailblazer biographies. Remember, the next revolutionary idea often starts with someone tinkering in a garage or dorm room. For additional context on the broader personal computing revolution, pair Source Code with the seminal work Hackers by Stephen Levy.